Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
I can't take this shit anymore.
Well, there's which particular shit? Your life is
My living situation.
Oh, your living situation.
I'm with my son.
Yeah.
I said to him, like, at 5 to 9, I said, all right, we're gonna wrap up in 5 minutes because he's playing Roblox and I'm watching This Is Us.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go. And my mom, I could hear her limping from like 20 feet away. She's got a cane. Mm-hmm. She's dragging herself to us to tell me, you need to leave in 2 minutes.
Why
I'm
two?
like, bitch, you do not tell me my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm going to a podcast. Why are you telling me I'm going to a podcast?
Wow, is she listening to the Jackie and Laurie?
No.
Uh-huh.
All I say is don't remind me. Please, don't remind me.
Yeah.
All our fights are her reminding me. And she actually had to crawl across broken glass to remind me.
Yeah.
And then I said, don't remind me. And she said, stop being mean to me. And we just did that back and forth. I don't know what to do anymore.
I don't either.
She won't change.
No, she will not change.
No.
You are correct. Did you want to change?
No.
Okay,
do I want to like being reminded? No, I fucking don't, Jackie.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just saying. Now it's just a waiting game.
Yes. When is she gonna die? When?
I don't know.
I've been promised this 2 hip surgeries ago. And then why is there always a DJ, some white male DJ, has the billboard right in front of Meltdown when we drive on Sunset?
Is it
It's no one I've heard of. This one's Tiesti, and he's got an umlaut over the E, and he's just as boring looking as Calvin Harris. And what's the job? You fucking play songs?
Yeah.
Really? That's
is
a great contribution to humanity. Why are these boring morons being rewarded? Why?
Well, that really sums it up, doesn't it?
Yes.
I don't know why boring morons.
It's International Women's Day.
Yes, they are rewarded every day. I heard today that is it Jon Favreau? No, who's doing the new Star Wars?
Oh, you hit it on the head with boring white guy. Yeah, you did.
Nailed
and it's
it in
not
one?
the good Jon Favreau who was a speechwriter for Obama. It's the other one.
The other one. He's going to write the new Star Wars movies. It's exhausting. There has to be someone else who could.
We got to get that guy. How are we going to? We got to get that guy.
That guy knows things.
You don't have to get that guy.
You don't have to get him. You don't have to get Joss Whedon. There has to be a new version of all of those white guys, and they have to not be white guys. How about that?
I'm so fucking sick of it.
It's exhausting. You know my drama.
Yeah.
I got just a complete fucking, and then this guy, his lawyer is...
Wait, we got to tell people a little bit. You can't jump into the lawyer story.
Well, okay. Well, I can tell you this. I have a better story before the lawyer story.
Okay.
I went to jury duty.
Right.
And you know how I don't have a filter? Remember how I just asked you when your mom was going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sitting through jury duty. I made it further than I've ever made it. I'm in the juror selection room, and it's all day. We're in the 11th hour here.
And no
bullshit.
iPhone, right?
No.
Horrific.
Yeah. So, and they don't want you, and it was the most boring and yet most compelling thing I've ever done in my life because it was kind of fascinating. Mm-hmm. The judge, and then two lawyers, and it was a civil case, tenant, landlord, whatever. One of the lawyers was just an old guy who would get up and ask the jurors the same 3 questions from a half crouch and then sit down. Mm-hmm. The other guy was a young guy, looked like he was under 5 years into the biz, super smarmy, super shiny, thought he was in debate class in 10th grade. And it went on for 15 minutes every time he opened his mouth. 10 to 15 minutes. It was exhausting. And he asked the same questions over and over again. And he kept trying to rile everybody up. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm finally in the alternate box, like the 6s. He's already burned. This young guy has burned through 11 to 15 people already out of 60. So there's 8 people sitting in the jury box. There's 6 alternates. 4 people go up. On either side of me, there's other alternates, right? And he's asking us each these questions. And the 2 guys, he says this out loud, and the judge has to chastise him. He says out loud to these guys, so if you think that the law is crazy, would you rule in verdict? Would you rule a verdict in favor of the law, or do whatever you did, what you thought was right? If you thought the law was crazy, would you do what you think is right or follow the law? And the judge goes, you can't say that. You can't say the law is crazy. You're a lawyer. And so then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I take it back. You can't take it back. You've already said it.
That sounds like the landlord's lawyer, by the way.
It wasn't. It was the tenant's lawyer. And so then he asked the same question that he's asked 9,000 people, which is there anything that I didn't ask that would make you have a hard time rule on this case? And he goes, I don't see any hands. And then I raised my hand and I was like, I have to say something. I just say, I don't know if it'll affect it, but I don't like you. And I don't want to judge your client because I don't like you.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
And I was not going for a laugh, though it is something gratifying about 40 exhausted people hiding laughs behind their hands.
Oh my God.
And he was like, I thank you for your honesty. And I was like, he said, well, so do you think that would affect how you judge my client? And I said, not now that I've vented it. Now I can separate it. But I just want you to know that you can't rile people up.
You're fundamentally unlikable.
You are a smarmy piece of shit, and you're creeping me out. Anyway, so that was my experience. And
That's
then
great.
I become juror number 1 in the next instant.
Right.
They're like Ms. Cashian, please be juror number 1. And then in the instant after that, that young lawyer says to the judge, I'd like to release Ms. Cashian.
Got a lot more likable.
I got a whole lot more likable in about a heartbeat, and because I'm out. Because I got to fly out tomorrow and then come back on Monday.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
So anyway, I have a blog where I state certain facts. And then
It's a Tumblr.
And then I state an opinion. And then a guy who, what's worse, that he was gross or that he's a hack? So
it's a tough call.
It's a tough call just because I've known a lot of gross guys that weren't hacks.
Right. Okay,
How many gross guys do you know that aren't hacks?
Oh, a lot.
Right. You're like, oh, that guy's funny. It turns out it makes up for how gross he is.
Yeah, it really does. If you are a sexual assaultee, if you have that habit,
right,
that you're
assaulter.
a genius, you'll get away with it for longer.
For decades, it turns out. Look at Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
That guy, 60 roofies.
I never liked him. But
He's
Louis...
just... Right. Just like blocking the door with his dick. And then...
Well, okay, so anyway, so you wrote a blog about a guy who was charged with sexual assault, a stand-up comic.
5 years ago.
5
and
years
every
ago.
year and a half, I get an email from this banana head telling me to take it down. And I got an email from supposedly his girlfriend. Oh my God, it was Epstein's mother is what it was. Is fucking... whatever.
First, you know what? Raise your sons to treat women well, and raise your daughters not to be sexual assaulters' boyfriends.
Right.
Girlfriends.
And I don't think that it was real. It wasn't real. And then, so I ignore it, and then it goes by, and then 6 months later, a year later, I get another one. This one's from him saying, and I ignore that. And then I get, when I'm on that cruise, nerd cruise, I get a text message saying, hey, do you know a comic named this? And I was like, I don't know him, but I know of him. I read a couple of articles about him several years ago, and part of an arrest record. So I know that he's, I don't like him. And I watched his stand-up, and that's the guy I wrote about. And I saw his stand-up online, and he's a hack. So no, I don't know him, but I know
the final
of him.
nail in the coffin.
Such a nail in the
so
fucking...
willing to let him get away with it if he had a couple good jokes that you wish
keep
he'd written.
Writing. That's the lesson to take away sexual assaulters. When will Cosby's studio album come out? So so anyway, I get this thing. He's looking up for my address, and
So
I'm
he's,
like,
he's asking other people for your home address.
for my home address.
And
so
I'm sorry
creeped
I
out.
gave it to him, first of all.
Well,
Let me
that
just
is
tell you right
very
off the bat.
sad
I
that Kilmartin is
apologize.
just like, what?
I took it off Twitter as soon as I found out that he was...
Right. And then, so then I get a snail mail email, handwritten envelope from a lawyer. A criminal lawyer, by the way. It would be a civil case, but he has a criminal lawyer because he's a criminal.
because his client's a criminal.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't? And so it's a woman lawyer. And so I have to then contact my lawyer, which I don't have a lawyer, but I know people who know lawyers, so now I
Right.
have a lawyer.
Right.
And so it's a civil lawyer. And so I send him all this stuff, and I'm like, and he goes, well, it'll cost you some money for me to review all this. And, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I just
Sure.
do it because I'm sick. I have a choice in responding to this.
Life
And
is
I've-
short. How much
Right.
energy do you want to spend on this?
Exactly. So I've spent 4 years ignoring this.
Right.
And there is some...
But it's always, poking away at you.
Yes.
You know this guy wants you to suffer.
Right. There is some satisfaction I get in ignoring it, and there's
Right.
some satisfaction in now that I have to publicly address it,
Right.
that he'll get, that finally he got me to do something.
Sure.
And then there's the third, the lawyer said, you can continue to ignore it. He doesn't have a case. It's California. You essentially, there's no case.
Well, you wrote your opinion about the charges, and then you
I wrote
also
the actual charges,
Yes.
and then I wrote my opinion about his stand-up comedy and about the charges.
and then you wrote that he was
Acquitted at the end of it. Yeah.
Yes,
And-
ruled not guilty.
Right, and I also, I believe, expressed my tiny opinion about that, and it wasn't
Yes.
even that bad. So, but the thing is, so the lawyer said my civil lawsuit lawyer, who tries these cases a lot, told me there's not really a case here. If he has a lot of money, he can make it expensive, but he's going to lose anyway. I mean, barring the end of the world or whatever. I mean, because you can't count 100% on anything, right? So, and he had scrubbed the internet so...
He did, I guess, but I did Google his name once you told me about that, and he was on the second page. On the second page of Google results was
Second
the
page.
sexual assault charges being dropped.
So like 11 or 18 things later.
yeah, the first, I guess, 10 to
Right.
15 results are
4 years ago,
the
when he
casino
first
was
started
working
doing
at.
it,
Right.
it would come up right away. And he, whoever he hired are geniuses. And I'm sure it was enormously expensive. But he's not working, and so he has to blame someone. And he can't possibly blame the fact that he can't write a fucking joke. He has to blame me. Or some other woman, because he's a tiny, tiny man.
Your Tumblr didn't come up, though. I mean,
No,
maybe
no,
it's
I
page
can't even-
3 of Google results.
I can't. To find
If
my
you
Tumblr, you
look
have
at
to
his
Google
name, it
his
doesn't-
name, my name, the name of my Tumblr.
Wow.
Like, I have to put in like half a dozen words.
You have to do way too much work for it to be
Right.
found. Interesting.
And so-
wonder how he did that.
How he found it? Or
No, how he squashed it that far down.
He paid someone tens and tens of thousands of dollars. It's a real thing.
I know it's a real thing, and now that's a little unfair. Google. I mean, it's if you don't have that kind of money to squash something, it's very unfair that Google makes that kind of money, putting certain results up top, unless you can pay. It's
Right.
almost like extortion on Google's part.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a separate issue.
Right. Yet very real one.
Yeah.
And one, I can't even delete all of my tweets anymore. 1 year I deleted all of my tweets.
Yeah.
It was like 50,000 tweets. I was like, take them all.
Wow.
And I just started over. Andy Kindler said to me, it's cheating.
Because you got to keep all your followers.
Yeah, I got to keep all my followers, got to get rid of all my tweets. And and so I would love to do it again, but I think it costs money now. And it was a free delete your tweet thing. It was a free program
app or something.
free app that would just delete them. And I was
Had
like,
all that gold, man.
no, you got gold. I got
don't
bullshit.
have gold.
I have bullshit. You write funny things every day on your Twitter account. So I was told I could do three things. I could ignore it. I could pay the lawyer to essentially like tell him to stop and that he didn't have a case and he was dumb.
And then
But
ignore it.
probably in lawyer terms.
Yeah.
And that will cost money. Or he said the third thing is called the Streisand effect. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't.
It's the Barbara Streisand effect.
Okay.
And it is, and it's real because I Googled that. That came right up, you guys. Number one, Wikipedia.
Above Barbara Streisand.
Above Barbara
Yeah,
Streisand.
you actually have to know who she is. For that to
Right,
make
nobody
sense to
does. And so, yeah, and it was essentially, it's essentially you turn the internet on him. Mm-hmm. And hilariously,
So what do you mean you turn the internet on him?
essentially, I would get like Dave Anthony and Doug Stanhope and all of the guys grumpier and
Round
funnier.
up your gang.
Round up my grumpier, angrier, funnier comics that have their own pile of haircuts that follow them.
Right.
To pile on this guy. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to do that.
No.
I don't. His life is already a mess. This is the saddest part of it because I genuinely, if he was working on himself at all, the hero of 9/11.
Have you ever met this guy?
No.
Oh my God.
Everyone I know that I've had 3 different women. Have you met him?
No.
I've had 3 different women comics. He's probably 5'8" or 5'9". Mm-hmm. He likes to walk up to women while they're seated and stick their crotch right in their face.
Stick his crotch
In their face, and then go, "Hey Jackie, how's it going?" It would be like if he were standing here with his dick in my face.
Yeah.
And go, "Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you." Mm-hmm. He's done that multiple times because that's the hilarity of the kind of guy he is. Mm. Kyle, you're a tall guy. You ever get real close to a woman seated so that your dick's in her face?
Try to avoid it.
Try to avoid it? You know why? Because you're a grown-up
lost,
man.
Kyle.
You're lost.
This guy's famous. If this guy was smart, he would be the sexual assaulter comic. Because I bet there's a lot of audience that would come to see that. They're tired of this fucking Me Too shit.
I think
and this
Vince, what's his
International
face,
Women's
got out
Days.
of... Vince got out.
Champ's out.
I think he got out of jail.
Oh
Didn't he?
shit!
Vince Champ.
Got to
did
make
he?
sure I've said only good things about him. Look, as far as rapists go, he wasn't bad looking. He was a handsome guy and
Shut up!
I mean, he's a rapist, but he wasn't bad looking.
And I get
I didn't do anything with him.
I get the hairy eyeball because of Bill Cosby. Me saying that he was funny.
You said he was funny. That's my problem with it. I agree with you on a rapist. I never liked him. I was ashamed into not saying it. I was a coward. But it was he helped me out by being charged by 90 women or something.
He's a handsome rapist. You want to call it that? You want to call the show "He's a Handsome Rapist"?
Don't listen the listener in on the fucking how the sausage is made, Jackie.
Who saw Hamilton? Laurie Kilmartin, you guys. Boom! Yes!
Twice.
Finally. Twice. 2 times. Have you seen Cavalier, though? Mm-mm. You will never see
even
Cavalier.
understand why this laugh
The boy
is
would
happening.
like it.
Billboard.
The boy would like it.
Okay.
It's Cirque du Soleil with horses. It's Horse du
where's
Soleil.
it?
Santa
It's
Barbara.
Yeah.
Is it in Santa Barbara now?
Camarillo or something.
No, it's in Camarillo.
Is it still even now after the fires and the mudslides?
Yeah. It was, we went at Christmas, and there's still 4 billboards up, so I think it's still there. You should take the boy. It's you won't like
maybe
it, but
I
you'll
don't
love it.
want someone reminding me to take my boy someplace on this podcast tonight.
Yeah,
Maybe-
why don't you take your mom? No, don't do it. You can't get her out of the house. That's the real problem.
She not only that, she has to have some surgical procedure. So, and she goes, but it'll just take an hour. It's an outpatient. I'm like, of course. You can't stay at the hospital one night and give me some fucking reprieve.
Right. Well, I tell you that what my dad said. He said, the hospital used to bring me coffee. He's the only guy who misses the hospital because they would bring him coffee. I was like, you live alone, Dad.
My dad used to get coffee at Big O Tires.
Big O Tires?
Yeah,
he
he loved
tire
their
shop?
coffee.
They're doing vital work with Folgers?
I don't know.
Is that what's happening
But
over
he
there?
loved their coffee. Just to pop in and
God.
get some Big O coffee.
Hey, are we at 30?
We are aggressively not.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? 15?
18.
18.
All right, we're
Oh, I thought
closer
my
to 30 than
drama-
we are to 0.
I thought my drama would have taken long enough. Anyway, so I don't want to release the dogs of war on this guy because seriously, I would like him to get some help.
No, you don't. Who fucking cares if he gets help? You want this not being part of your life and inside your brain.
Yes, that is genuinely. Every year and a half, I don't need a weird someone just popping me across the head
I
going,
say-
remember that fuckwit?
Just send the letter.
Just send the letter and try to let it go.
Be
Again.
done. Yeah.
Every year and a half for the rest of my life, he's going to call me.
You know what? I mean, find out where your Tumblr pops in on Google search and just tell him, look, you're lucky. Whatever you did worked because it's very, very low.
It's so
on the
buried.
results.
Hey, we have a couple of live shows coming up.
Sorry.
We're doing 2 at Flappers, maybe a third for the festival.
Oh, we're doing March 19th. Mm-hmm. So wait, that'll be a week from today that this drops.
Yeah, it's right when I get back from Glendale, Arizona.
Right.
Doing Tommy Tynes, and you get back from New York.
That's right. And then we're doing something Mother's Day afternoon.
Mother's Day is 7 p.m.
Right. Oh, that's
And then we're
7
doing
p.m. That's not
Moon
the
Tower, I
afternoon.
think, in between.
Yes, we're doing Moon Tower, and then
Which will be on the Saturday now because you can't come.
that was a big fuck up on my part.
There was an error? You thought
Yeah.
you could get out early, but you couldn't?
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen. I mean, you have a job.
Right.
It turns out you work for a big fucking deal.
Oh, I know.
You-
I just didn't.
You feel bad. I sense.
I didn't handle that properly.
I'm an empath. I sense that you feel bad, slightly.
But we'll do it all on Saturday.
Yeah. It'll be good.
So
It'll be
anyway,
fun.
I apologize to
That's-
you and the Moon Tower people.
The people of Moon Tower. I'm on. I think I get to do a Dork Forest because of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like a Dork Forest.
Sure. Oh, please. I know that.
I picked. It's let's see, the next the one that comes out after this comes out will be Open Mike Eagle talking about pro wrestling.
Okay.
Open Mike Eagle was on the new Baron Vaughn, the new Negroes pilot. Did you see the
I didn't.
the notice of it?
No.
You know, Baron Vaughn has that show at UCB sometimes
Yeah.
called The New Negroes, and Comedy Central bought a pilot. of
Oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah, and Open Mike Eagle, I think, is doing the music for it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he was on that cruise, the Nerd Cruise, the Joko Nerd Cruise.
Can you tell me more about that?
Let me tell you about it. Somebody said to
stop
me,
her.
"Do you think Lori would like to be on the Nerd Cruise?" And I was like, "No, I don't."
Why do
Anyway.
you say that? I take every gig. I do every spot offered to me. Yes, I
Right.
would like to be on a cruise.
Oh my God! So Judah Friedlander called me the other day.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I love Judah. He's so funny, and he's such a great guy, and he's
Such a good guy.
He's a good person.
"Yep," and he's fucking
he's
hilarious.
Not a sexist bone in his body.
No.
He's just a great comic and a great guy. Okay.
He's often got an interesting hat.
Oh yeah.
There's always a fun hat happening. He did an episode of the Dork Forest about ping pong. Did you know he's a big ping pong player?
I didn't.
Well, he's pretty excited about the fact that there's ping pong at Moon Tower.
Welcome to Dork Forest Recaps. I'm Lori Kilmartin.
We can call the show that. Anyway, so because you know that I get introduced at shows now.
What?
Nobody says Dork Forest. Everyone's like, you do that Jackie and Laurie podcast, right? And I was like, you know, I've been 12th year.
Cursed too.
12th year of Dork. No, that's great. No.
Really? Guess what? 28 years of not doing a podcast. That's my proudest
Your burden.
accomplishment.
Your burden. Because the Dork Forest, I love the Dork Forest. And it's super. You would actually like, and the boy would like it too. It's,
Wait,
Floyd?
the New Negroes?
no, he would also like the New Negroes, but I was thinking the cruise.
Yeah, of course he would. But nothing ever happens like my kids' spring break is not when my break is, and so nothing ever converges.
Right. And it's 7 full days, which would be really hard with work. You'd have to be on big hiatus.
Is there a lap pool?
Oh, and there is not. You would want no part of it. There is a gym. Guess
Is there
what?
an ocean?
Nerd Cruise?
What?
Empty. So live it up. Maria got to work out a fair amount. She was psyched.
Did she do sets on the treadmill?
She did not. She did sets every morning, 8 a.m.
I know, that's amazing.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And but she got to work on all this new stuff. It was great. I did a set tonight
Right.
at Fay Dodo.
What's that? Is that the name of the location or the name of the
that's
show?
where they shot. They've shot a bunch of stuff down there. It's down Culver City.
Okay.
And there's a smaller room, and a bigger room. The bigger room used to have the Super Serious show in it.
Right.
And the smaller room shot the pilot for New Negroes in the smaller room. Get this, it has a vaulted ceiling, but it's super dark and it makes up for it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I love that
It's not
smaller
terrible.
room. It's not terrible at all. The bigger room, it has that vaulted ceiling, and it's more of a place where there should be like a Lutheran pancake breakfast.
What's the next
Less fun.
Culver City? Because you and I need to buy a house together in the next Culver City and flip it in 5 years.
wow, you have more tasks than you can take right now.
Just
and you're like,
saying.
I want to start flip this house.
I moved to Culver, in 2009 for like
Yeah.
a year when I was working on.
and you're like, why didn't I buy?
yes, my God, it's bananas down there now.
I know.
Gosh,
It is.
Oh, well.
Andy and I looked at a house. We almost bought a house down there in 2003.
you would be millionaires.
We would,
You'd
except
be
for
like those San Francisco comics that accidentally wandered into a house in 1999 and bought it because
Right.
the market
Sue Murphy.
was shitty. I don't know I think Sue might have sold hers, but
she sold it when she came down here.
Wow, there's a couple stand-ups that are like
Sitting pretty.
millionaires.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
And then
go
the
ahead.
cheering. But the crazy thing is the house that we liked, there was like a folly in the back of this. It was a crack house. It was genuinely
What's
a
a folly?
drug.
What do you mean?
There was a fake like fireplace in the back that had fairies and like cherubs and bullshit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it had all these like vines. And we thought it was the most romantic thing in the world. And I was like, let's get this house. And Andy was like, yeah, it had an electric fireplace. He was like, we could redo it and make it into a real fireplace. And I was like, okay. And then so we leave.
By the way, I think somebody's doing a show there now.
And then he brings his buddy Lee to look at it like a couple of days
This guy
later.
sounds like a buzzkill already. His
He was
buddy
like-
Lee.
His buddy Lee is
No,
like, you
no,
can't
no.
buy this place. There's no back door on it. There were no
You
doors
know how much
on
a
it.
door is? It's $150 at Home Depot. Buy a fucking door.
There was graffiti all over it.
yeah,
And it was
there's something called paint. What is wrong with your buddy Lee? What friend? He probably
2000
bought it as soon as you two left. He probably called the realtor. All right, those assholes are out of here. Give me this thing.
He's got a condo in South Pass,
Mm-hmm.
that he bought in like 2000. So, but the crazy thing is we would not have done any of that.
Right.
We have lived in the house that we live in. We've painted one wall
You
for
put a new
14
floor in?
years. We did
That one might not have needed anything, right? It was kind of
No, our house didn't. House we moved into didn't need anything.
Of
and
course.
Then, so we got new windows, and we've since actually done more. But when
Mm-hmm.
we moved in for, I don't know, probably 8 years, the only thing we did was painted that one wall. And then we got new windows, and we put that trellis on the side and planted a bougainvillea. It's exciting.
It is
And-
exciting.
And then we put some windows in. But
there's a lot of comics out there that can't conceive of owning a home. I
couldn't.
would not have been in my brain when you're just crawling from open mic to open mic.
No.
And you're barely able to make your rent and you have roommates that you would
so
actually
fucking
own
blessed.
a home.
Yes.
Yeah. But
So,
it can happen. It can happen.
And it only happened to me because I was sweat equity. I mean, Andy bought it, and then
Here's
I
the
married
thing.
him. Yeah.
Bill Gates says the economy's about to tank. So hold on
He's
to your
not
hold on to your savings accounts because housing prices are going to crash. And then grab something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, just start cash.
Trump's not going to keep sailing this ship much longer without hitting an iceberg. You know?
No,
We're
the
going
whole
down.
country's gonna. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole country's going down, and then we'll regroup, you guys. It'll just take about 20 or 30 years for us to shovel our way out. But as long as he leaves, that's a win. So if we can get him and his Nazis out, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So
Well, I had a show on Monday. It's Thursday night, and then
Yeah.
I haven't had a set for 3 nights.
Oh, wow.
I kind of like I didn't pursue a lot this week because my son has his talent show tomorrow night and Saturday.
oh, is he going to draw something and show him a picture?
No, he
What's
plays
he gonna do?
piano.
Oh, that's right. He plays
Dude,
piano.
his hands are huge too, and his hands like his thumb and his pinky straddle so many keys, and he's like, "Bing," and he's playing the black keys and the white keys, and they're all over the place. I mean, it's really amazing. I'm so
He's actually
excited.
gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Because 2 years ago you were like, he will not practice, and you're
Well,
like,
he
now
still
you
doesn't
will.
like to practice, but
Yeah.
he, despite himself, he's gotten good. He
That's
has
awesome.
to do it's 15 minutes a day, Monday through Thursday. It's
Really?
not a lot.
No, are you kidding me? That when I
But
took
that's
class,
enough.
That's enough. That's
Yeah.
enough to really learn how to play.
Yes.
So good
and
for
he's
him.
been doing it for 6 years like that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So anyway, he's got his thing on Friday night and Saturday afternoon, and then his New Mexico project was due, and that was fucking far behind. So so anyway, I just thought, we'll speak. And he's also super clingy right now, and I wonder if it's 6th grade is looming. It's a big change. It goes.
Does he go to middle school?
Yeah,
next?
it's like
Okay.
lockers and different class. 4
Right.
or 5 different teachers, and
It's a big
so
change.
I think he's getting a little.
It's that plateau, and then he's going to jump.
Worried.
Sort
Yeah.
of like,
I know.
yeah.
I also feel like these are the last years he's going to want to
Hang out.
Like he's going to be begging me to go to shows every night in 2 years, right? He'll just
You're
be like,
hoping.
he will
thing
be.
is,
They'll
is-
be like, yeah, get out.
These
These are the last years he's going to want me to stay home with him.
Maybe, and it's so funny because you're like, it'll be interesting to find out. When we're doing this 10 years from now.
Oh
and-
God.
Oh, that was so
God.
much fun to say that. I can't tell you how much fun that was to say that out loud. Anyway, no, but you can't tell with kids because how's his social skills? Does he have friends?
Oh yeah, he's got friends. Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
I did a benefit last night with a bunch of women comics. They started the week of women's empowerment over
Yeah.
at the New York Film Academy.
Yeah.
And
In Burbank. Mm-hmm. Okay.
it's Andy teaches there.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, that's
he
right.
teaches
Yeah,
game design. Yeah. 2 of the people in the audience were in his classes. I was like, does anybody have my husband in their class? And one guy in the back goes, I do. And then some woman yells, what's his name? So I said his name, and kid in the front row raised his hand. I do. And I was like, awesome. All right. Well,
And now you're gonna know how he fucks.
Exactly. I was like, we do it, you guys. I'm going to be talking about us doing it. And then I made the...
Mr. Ashcraft does tantric.
He's a good sport, you guys. He puts out. Just like... So, but it was me and Laura House and...
Whose a CD just came out, by the way.
That's
if you
right.
love comedy, get Laura House's CD.
Oh, my
She's
God.
so funny. she's
mouth
our
punching,
friend, and
punching
we love
mouth,
her. Yeah.
Smash mouth. What's it called?
Something mouth punch.
Mouth punch.
Yes.
It's mouth punch.
Yeah.
And my favorite track is "The South Will Rise Again." It is such a hilarious, and all this stuff about her dad.
Yeah.
She was a comic of the week not long ago.
Right.
Not long ago.
I thought it was a while ago. Wasn't she one of
Yeah,
our earlier ones?
one of the first ones. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I always
But
figure if one of us, you're giving me the lineup.
that was the lineup.
Oh, that's cool. That's geez.
It's a hell of a
That's
lineup.
a powerhouse lineup.
Yeah, it's so one of these people, Lisa Delarios, who I had never met.
Yeah.
Kate Willett,
Yeah.
comic of the week,
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Vanessa Gonzalez, she was hilarious. Everybody was so great. Jessica Sele, Laura House, Ellington Wells.
You know what? I'm doing a lot of promo for my book, Dead People Suck.
Dead People Suck,
They're
you
always,
guys. Yeah.
they do come around to people just want to ask about Me Too and comedy and has it changing? And I'm like, you know what's changing is there's just so many fucking so many funny female comics.
Right.
That's changing. It's not like club owners that used to try to put their hands in your vaginas are like, whoa, that's bad. Like they're still there, but
Yeah.
what's changing is the audience and the performers are changing. And there's so many good female comics. God damn.
I had never met half of these people. And I,
I
was
know.
Like,
Every time I go to
hilarious.
one of these shows, I'm like, who
are you?
Yes.
I was like, and it's just awesome to meet them.
Yeah.
Because, they're 22, 27, 35 years old. And I was like, what?
They just know how to. They got to skip the awkward period, and it feels like they got an education in joke writing by watching so much stand up.
Right, because there's so much more stand up to watch. And so it's sort of like. It's a benefit, I think, even though I never felt bad that I never watched stand-up when I was a kid.
Right.
Because when I started doing stand-up, I didn't have any bad habits. The only bad habit I had initially was I think I stole somebody's joke right away, like a month or two into it, and I was told immediately, of course, by everyone around me not to do that. And then I stopped doing that.
I did.
That's the rule.
That is a rule. I did Paige Hurwitz's show at the Improv where she and Karen Kilgariff is the permanent host. Where
What the fuck is this? I
Okay,
wanna
you
do
look at
that.
old videotape of yourself. So it was me, Tony Kameen, and Margaret Cho. We all started up together in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And those two brought video, and Paige asked me, I think at the last second, or so she just she grabbed my girls' night out.
Yeah.
You know? And so we had to watch ourselves on tape. And I was doing this thing where I would tell a joke and I would hunch my shoulders and make a face. And I was like, that's Paul Lynde. You know, Paul Lynde would do a joke and then and just sort of make a little noise afterwards and kind of sell it, like do a little extra.
Kyle's doing his
Yes,
glasses.
he would always do some stuff.
Some sort of physical mugging?
Yes, and shake and stuff like that. And I was doing that after every joke. It was horrific. Yes, it was hard to watch.
That's what I always say. Definitely record yourself early on and keep those videos private on YouTube so that only you can be horrified by them. And then when you're good enough, when you feel like, you can watch yourself 5 years later and go, at least I'm better.
But I don't see those tics in a lot of newer female comics. Like I see a lot of confidence in just telling a joke and just let the joke do the work. Unless you need to do an act out for the joke to work, but you don't have to do a little dance afterwards.
They have stage presence, all of them, men too.
Yeah.
They all have a stage presence that's insane, and it's because they were born in an age when everybody has cameras.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think that everybody was on camera from an early age.
Comfort on being in front of people.
There are still people who have stage fright, and there are still people who don't want to publicly speak.
We can't all be Calvin Harris
or
Tiesta.
Tiesto. I know that we're at 30. We got to be at 30 here because I want to talk about.
I've never seen you want to get out of the studio quicker.
I have to fly tomorrow to Grand Rapids and then Salt Lake, and I'm just over this cold.
Oh my God!
And I know that this plane is going to just Grand Rapids. It's going to be the Gilda Radner thing. With Maria.
You're going straight to Grand Rapids. You're not going to Grand Rapids to get to Salt Lake.
No, because we're flying Detroit to Grand Rapids. Got bumped up on the 12-minute flight that is. Thank you so much, Delta. And then back to Detroit and then Salt Lake on Sunday.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm Saturday night. Tomorrow we're just flying there.
Okay.
Saturday night we're doing Grand Rapids. Sunday night we're doing Salt Lake City.
Dude, that's
Monday,
sweet. You have a fly day? And then you can relax all day in beautiful Grand Rapids.
I'm not going to lie to you. They have some really nice olive oils. Okay,
I
so
bet they do.
They actually have a
is there
very
a
nice
college there?
There is a college there. There's also
there's a good coffee house. You're set. I don't want to hear it. We're going to go long.
That's the first time you said that.
I'm doing Uncab on Sunday, which will be yesterday when this drops.
Yeah.
And Meryl Marco's doing it, Lauren Weidman, and
Shut it.
Yeah. Ali Waller.
Allie Willis?
Waller.
Who's
She's a
Allie
writer.
Waller? Oh wow.
People I just haven't seen ever actually perform, but I've been aware. I've never seen the three of them. I haven't, and I don't have any.
Did you read that Nell Scoville thing?
I did. That was good.
That was fascinating.
Yeah. She has a book. Oh, I forget the name of it, but she wrote "Lean In." Don't let the book cover fool you. Sheryl Sandberg didn't write a word of it. There's no way. It was interviews.
I was going to
Nell
say,
wrote it.
That's not the name that's on that book.
No, Nell ghost. When you ghostwrite, you write.
Okay.
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg's very busy. She didn't sit there in front of a Word doc and fucking pound that shit out. That was Nell. And so she wrote a book about being a female comedy writer.
Yeah.
It's
back on Letterman for the year.
Yeah. And The Simpsons, and
Oh yeah,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
She's worked. It turns out, still working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a hell of a lineup. But the comic of the week, do the name.
Pam Walt.
Who
I can't believe we didn't do before.
I know.
I was shocked.
That's the other thing, is that I can't believe, because the name I said, we haven't done her either.
Yeah. Well.
And at House of Pancakes. That makes me laugh against my will.
She has a really cool podcast, which I did. And,
what's it called?
House of Pancakes.
Yeah,
House of Pancakes, oddly enough.
She's really funny, super dark joke writer, just great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and Kyle just worked with her.
Yeah,
so
great.
That's the other great. And she was murdered.
He said she was a
just
hammer.
a machine. Yeah,
a joke machine.
That's awesome. Pam Walt,
Pam
you guys.
Walt.
House of Pancakes, also a podcast, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see more of everyone's work, quite honestly, except for shitty comics, which I don't want to see anymore. Just sitting, I just got a text actually tonight from a friend of ours who's on the road, and she said, oh my God, how did she put it? She said, I just have to follow some seriously mediocre. She said the feature is going up.
Is it this person?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It is not that person. I'm working with two gentlemen that should never be doing comedy. But they're nice.
Oh, no.
He's selling merch during his set, and he's the feature. Now he's talking about his website. I was like, he only has 30 minutes.
Oh, my God.
So, can you see who it is?
No.
All right.
How do you read this?
Well, I have glasses.
I do, too.
I know, but you're wearing contacts.
Wait, where?
Right there.
I
It's
can't read
person.
that either. What? Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay. Jesus. It's and
There's
now
nothing worse than someone selling merch while you're still on stage. You know what I mean?
Oh, like talking about in their like the
No,
way I
like
do.
the feature is please buy my teddy bear or whatever.
Right.
And then they set up the merch table while you're on stage still doing your act. Have you ever had that happen?
I set up the merch table while the feature's up.
Yeah, but you don't sell stuff, right?
Oh no.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh right.
I mean selling while you're on stage.
Yeah.
Someone's going to the bathroom.
You know
they're,
what
instead of
Rooster-
rushing back to get to you, they're
Oh,
buying
right.
this guy's T-shirt.
Right. I'm like, no, go do a thing. Whenever, like, if I set it up during the feature, they're like, if somebody stops to watch, I was like, not before you see the jokes.
Oh yeah. Oh, get
keep-
out.
Keep
this
moving.
doesn't work.
Get out. And at Rooster Teeth Feathers, if the room isn't full, you sell inside in the room where the dude is up, or it's always a
know.
dude. It's not always a dude,
I
but
know.
whatever. But when the feature's up, you can set up in the space that
Right.
it's still in the room. And then if it's full, you have to sell outside, and it's very hard to set up.
It is hard to set up. Clubs need to realize that they're paying us the same they were paying us in 1995. So we're trying to make up for it by selling merch.
Right.
We need a place to sell this shit. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, just a card table. Go ahead. Go to Home Depot. Knock yourself out.
Buy a door at Home Depot and put it across two chairs.
That's $150.
That's
Nobody's
right.
doing that. So, I've just been, what else is happening? Oh, I had a cold. I was very brave. I kept, and then I got called into frickin' jury duty. I've always wanted to be on a jury. Just imagine the freedom of being told you're supposed to judge others. You know, I've spent most of my life just judging others.
Are you doing
without
a
the
bit on
sanction.
me?
No, I'm just I'm making fun of myself at you.
Okay.
This is not a bit. I would never.
I sniff a joke.
And I have farmed some jokes into the world. It isn't right. It isn't right. What else you got?
I don't know what I got.
I feel like there's just too much time left.
There's always too much time left.
Oh, tonight I have a new punchline with my empath joke, a new end on it.
Yeah.
Finally, it worked, but it's so dark that I get that laugh that's like, oh. And you're like, fuck you.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
want
not.
it to end on a big, gigantic ender laugh.
Yes. You don't want it to end on that, so I got to tag it now
Yeah.
because it's a funny line. I don't want to throw it
But
away.
it can't be your closing line.
Can't be the closing line for the joke. And but at least it has a stronger ending than the petering out that was previous. And then I forgot
Is
the
there
flirting joke. I
Is
forgot
there a
something.
callback possible?
Is there a callback possible?
Is there another joke that you can attach to this?
Maybe
chunk
because the
and call
empath
back?
joke comes.
Sometimes
the-
you're doing all this extra work, and it's like, hey, you already did the work. Just connect the dots.
Right. Maybe it's like that string art from the 70s. Remember the wire? It was like a 3-masted
I
ship.
think I got a Girl Scout badge in that.
Were you in Girl Scouts?
Fuck yeah.
You sell cookies?
Yes.
Nice work.
Yeah. I still have my sash and all my badges still stitched all over it.
I was in Brownies until Nancy Cation said, I'm not driving into Brownies anymore.
Is that your stepmom?
Yeah. And I was like, all right. They didn't like my predictive how I was going to sell the cookies anyway. So,
Your Elliot Cation.
yeah, my Elliot Cation daughter. I got to skim a little off the top here, you guys.
My
You're getting your cut.
son insists on going to Boy Scouts. And,
Yeah.
I have not participated. His babysitter takes him on Tuesday nights. I don't buy him the uniform. I'm not.
Does his dad buy him the?
No one does. I have
He
no
doesn't have a
idea why
uniform?
they won't kick him out. Because he won't, like, he doesn't have any badge. I'm like, what are you doing there? You don't have badges. You're not saying, hey,
You're
Mom,
not
I want to
tying
get
knots.
this badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? He's just hanging out.
You just
hanging out with
new
his-
guys to hang out with.
Yeah.
A bunch of new guys that he doesn't know.
That's like his bar, I guess, on Tuesday night.
Good for him. Good for him.
To get
Some
away
guys
from
like
grandma.
a coffee shop. Yeah, it's just like I just
Get
need
away from
something-
the old lady.
Exactly. It's if I were him, I too would take up hobbies that weren't real. It's if he starts ice fishing, that's what adult men do in the Midwest
Oh, my
to get away
God.
from their in-laws. They take up ice fishing. You writing anything new? You got any new bits?
Nope.
Well, I'm
Thanks for
sorry I
bringing it
brought it
up. No, I guess I have an idea of something I want to try. But when's the last time we did a podcast? A couple days ago?
Yeah.
and then I had one set on Monday night. Fielding Edlow had a
cool.
benefit, and so it was a bunch of drunk moms. Mm-hmm. And so all I know is I get to the show, and I was up first, and it was fun. There was some drunk mom. Kira was there. Wayne Fetterman was there, and Ian
Fun.
Edwards was going last. So I did my set, and then I ran into the car, and I drove home quickly, and I got in my pajamas and took three melatonins and was reading to my son, and I'm like, I bet Ian Edwards is just getting on stage. Right now.
That's a win, kind of.
It is, totally. I did a set, but I'm
Such an-
still doing the mom shit.
Right.
Fucking, I need like a theme song when I do that.
Right, some sort of like the theme
some
of Stripes.
007 or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
something.
Stripes.
I don't know. There's a theme song. I had a what else happened? Oh, I had a meeting with All Things Comedy
Yeah.
about doing a video series, Dork Expedition kind of thing. And which is what I think where the Stripes things came up because many years ago, I think it was 9 years ago, I tried to do a YouTube show of Dork Expedition, or I thought about it, and I cut together essentially like just a sizzle thing, and it was so much work 9 years ago. I was like, oh, I'm never doing this,
Right. Like
so-
iMovie and...
yeah, no,
Premiere
I had
or whatever.
I had my buddy Joe Wilson help me out, who used to co-host the Dork Forest, and he did it, and he did a really good job. But the music, he just grabbed the Stripes music. He's like, obviously, this is just the sizzle reel. You can't keep the Stripes music. And
I don't know it. I don't know the Stripes.
I can't remember how it goes. Music is not
Remember
my life.
Meatballs? That was great.
Meatballs? No, is that the summer camp movie?
Yes.
It just doesn't matter?
Yes.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. Yeah.
I was going to show that to my son, but then there's some parts of it that don't hold up. Did we talk about
Real
this?
racy.
Yeah, and then there might be a
Is
date
it
rape or
noodly?
something.
Yeah, it does not hold up.
It does not hold up.
Bummer.
It is a bummer. 16 Candles has at least 2 boob scenes for him, so maybe you just hand him that and walk out of the room.
He doesn't like boobs yet.
He doesn't. He's just 11.
He's 11.
It's true.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Joe Wilson, YouTube,
yeah,
Expedition,
but whatever. So
All Things
so I
Comedy.
showed them this old sizzle reel from 9 years ago.
Yeah.
and they were psyched. It's still
They have a nice
it still
studio.
holds up.
I just did Kira Sultanovich's podcast there. Nice studio.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's,
Gorgeous. Brand
yeah.
new. Huge.
Mhm. And huge. Used to be slightly bigger.
It's no padded cell like we're in here. Let me tell you that.
It doesn't have. It's
It doesn't have a band playing underneath it.
it doesn't. But it does have water, which is nice. And
I was on Heather McDonald's podcast that came out today, Juicy Scoop.
how is that?
It was fun.
That
Do you
is
know
fun.
her?
Not offhand,
don't-
but I probably do.
We kind of just
It's
knew
just
each other a
fun.
little bit. Like she wrote for Chelsea Handler, and she's kind of got her own thing happening, completely self-generated.
Yeah.
Career. It's kind of cool and inspiring, and she's got kids, and so.
Oh, does she?
Yeah,
she has more than.
2 kids and a
Wow.
step, I think.
Wow.
Stepkid too. Yeah.
So that's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of hustle, man. Mm-hmm. I appreciate those hustlers.
Man, you should.
You're
were
a
one of
hustler.
them. You're what? Mutual Admiration Society. Huh? Come on, Kilmartin. Look at us in our 200th
You have to
hour.
do as many possible revenue streams that you can make happen.
That's it. I mean, right. It's so. You know what I did want to listen to was Kathleen Madigan has a new album out this week too.
Oh.
Something called "Bothering Jesus," I think it's called, which is a great name.
She's doing a thing where she reads Fire and Fury on YouTube.
Right, I saw that. I saw that. She just reads that book.
Just in complete contempt. I love it.
It's kind of. I mean, the thing is about Kathleen Madigan is that I've been compared to Kathleen Madigan for my entire career, and I just met her 8 years ago.
Yeah, right.
So, it's so funny when I would watch her do stand-up starting about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, we are nothing alike.
Oh my God, I know you're not.
Not at all. The only thing that we are kind of alike, in this moment, I feel some affinity to her because she has also never been a political comic.
Yeah.
But is now.
Being driven insane.
Right, because we're all being driven mad, and you have to talk about something.
Right.
And what else are you thinking about besides the end of our republic?
Right.
It's very hard to not do jokes about it.
Jackie,
Come on.
Trump's about to negotiate a peace treaty with Kim Jong-un. I think it's going to be okay.
I think he thought he was talking to North Korea, but he was actually talking to South Korea. Did you read that?
Vice versa, I think.
No. He
was
thought he was
talking
talking to North Korea, and he was actually talking to South Korea.
Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't actually talked to North Korea. He was bragging about talking to North Korea, and then it came out he was talking to South Korea. And you're like, dude, you are not good at this. And
hold on.
But who cares? So yeah, I'm going to Glendale, Arizona, probably on Thursday of this when this comes out.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. That's almost a brand new club. That
sounds fun.
Glendale,
I can't wait
Arizona.
to hear about it.
Yeah, it's going to be super.
I like the guy that owns it, Tom. I really like. He's a funny comic.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I heard
Such a cutthroat. It's an unexpectedly cutthroat comedy town because there are a couple crazy club owners there that are.
Right. I remember
Scottsdale, the whole thing. It's just like
and keep switching around.
fucking everyone chill. It's 150 degrees. Why are you guys so mad? Like, how do you get off your couches to get this angry?
Right, and nobody's driving more than 20 minutes to go anywhere.
Yes,
so if it's on the other side of Phoenix,
this whole state is laid out on a grid, and no one. Yeah. I mean, no one's competing with you.
Nobody's competing. You have a different 180 people that are willing to come to your club each week.
True.
So did you hear about Harvey's though in Portland? Is that Barry Neal was booking it, and after a month they fired him.
Okay, so Barry Collin is the guy that owns it. Does he still own it?
I thought that a guy named Howard owned it.
Did he sell it? Why is there more than one Barry involved in one comic?
Who's naming their kids Barry?
Stop
57 years ago.
Stop it. I don't know.
Time travel was invented, we'd go back and say,
No
Bartholomew is not a decent name.
I don't mind Bartholomew. You call him Bat, but not Barry.
You call him Bat?
Yes.
How about Batty? Hey, Batty. You're a little Batty. But now I heard that it's Pat Wilson.
Oh, okay.
You work for Pat Wilson?
Yeah, I have.
I didn't, because the one time I tried to work for Pat Wilson was probably 15 years ago.
Right.
She used to book a lot of one-nighters outside of Seattle.
Yeah, she was the chief competitor to David Tribble.
Right. But she didn't have any hotels.
Yeah, that's always why Dave won.
Right. Dave won because people have to sleep somewhere. Yeah. And Pat Wilson couldn't figure that out for some reason. Right. So I met her at some festival in like 97. So in 99 or 98, we talk on the phone. She's like, let's do it. So I book a series of 5 or 6 nights. And she tells me that there's no hotel except for one of the nights. And then...
So you're coming from Wisconsin? From L.A. to Seattle.
Outside of Seattle and north of Seattle.
And where are you supposed to stay?
She did not care. And so...
are you headlining?
Headlining.
That's ridiculous.
Well, that's when I hang up the phone and then I start doing the math and I realize I can't afford to do that run.
Well,
right?
I mean, does she just only want to hire Seattle
Comics who can drive there and back, which is
that makes sense. That's a business plan.
that is a business plan. But she offered it to me, and she was completely honest about it too.
Yeah.
Right?
All
She was
right.
like, "There." So I guess she did only want to book Seattle Comics, right?
And there's a
So-
ton of Seattle comics. And
in 97,
yes,
99.
definitely.
Sure. And so I call her right back after I do the math. Like 10 minutes has gone by.
Right.
And I say, hey, I just did the math. I can't actually afford to do this. And she, and I quote, says, if you cancel this on me, I will never book you again. And I said,
Jackie, she just made flyers so quickly. In 10 minutes, she had flyers all over the country.
I was like, well, I can't afford to work for you, so that actually works out for me. I'm so sorry. And so I had to let it go. And so now, but Harvey's, because Helium doesn't book me. That guy doesn't like me. He doesn't not like me. I can't fill the room.
right.
But he does book
This is
men that
whenever I
can't
hear
fill the
that, I
room.
want to go to their calendar and go, "Oh, is that a room filler? Oh, that guy's a room filler.
That guy's not a room filler.
Interesting.
That guy's. But I'll tell you, the guy who owns Helium also owns this Ticketmaster kind of thing.
Yeah.
That he tries to sell to all different comedy clubs, and once he can sell that, once he gets into comedy clubs, he can find out who does fill the room
Oh,
because he's got the data.
interesting.
He's not a dumb guy, but he's not much of a comedy guy. He's more of a business
A
guy.
data guy.
Yeah, he's a data and business guy. But he has really good looking rooms, so it's a pity that he is unmoved by me.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
But if it's not personal,
It certainly has never been personal.
maybe this podcast brings up Kation's numbers a little
Boom,
bit.
you guys. Helium. They're in Philadelphia, Portland, St. Louis, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Did they buy Charlie Goodnight?
Yep. And there's one other.
And Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York. That's
Did
right.
they buy the Funny Bone in Buffalo?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, so they get rooms and renovate them.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever
But they-
Charlie Goodnights?
I never did.
Such a great room.
Great, like
Oh
the
my
good
God.
dank, like low ceiling and the whole nice.
Remember his low. It's just a great room, and Raleigh's like part of that research triangle. So there's a lot of don't take
great.
this personally, Southerners, but smart people, unexpectedly smart people. There,
Seriously, get Laura House's new album. It's so great.
but
She's from like Boondocks, Texas. She's from like in between a tumbleweed and a piece
Yeah.
of cactus.
But I worked with Tim Wilson there,
Oh, did you?
the mighty Tim Wilson,
The mighty Tim
May
Wilson.
he rest in peace. And then a couple other times, I think I worked with Charlie Vericola, who's like
yeah, yeah.
Carrot Top's guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Are they?
I
Do
remember
they still
Char-
work together?
I don't know. That guy was like a fist with a haircut. I remember Charlie Vericola. I remember that dude.
He's feisty. You gotta like feisty.
He was feisty.
man.
He was and a joke machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I met him
But
several
he also
times
built
in
Carrot
Vegas.
Top's props.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And he wrote for him too.
He was part of the very fascinating Marin WTF with Carrot Top. Charlie was there. It's probably
really?
behind a paywall now, but it was like a weird look into a Vegas
that dynamic.
a Vegas act. You know, someone lives in a gigantic house in Las Vegas, and
Right.
he just does his shows every night. That
is
would drive
weird.
me bananas.
Yeah, you would not. That is not for you.
Well, I think for most comics, you do want to get out of a place after you've been there a week. That's
Yeah.
just that becomes your rhythm of, I got to get out of here. I can't stay here.
Well, I think
another
that's why
week."
Brad Garrett does it like 6 weeks. He does his own club.
yeah.
Probably he headlines like 6 weeks a year. I think.
Yeah.
Brad Garrett does. I haven't not seen that room. Have you seen that? Do you ever go to Vegas?
No, I haven't been there in a long time.
I wouldn't go on a dare. You'd have to pay me to go to Las Vegas.
Of course.
The last time I was in Las Vegas, 2006.
Yeah.
Went and saw Barry Manilow, and it was for my bachelorette party. Previous to knowing Laurie Kilmartin, you would have been invited. Would you have come?
No.
Your loss. Danielle Koenig came. Yeah, that's right.
Good.
Yeah.
See, I know you have friends that'll go. I don't need to show up
You
too.
don't need to. No, my sister came. It was weird because my friend of mine from
You know
college.
what? If you were
yeah.
a friend, you'd invite my mom to leave me alone for a week.
I have already.
That's what a
invited-
friend
I have
does.
told you that I would take your mom out to lunch. Remember that?
Oh, guess what? I'm gone during lunch. not a big help.
Am I supposed to take her to dinner? We're not dating. I'm not going to date your mom. Was she still drinking coffee?
In the morning, yeah. And then she has her vodka and her mini carrots at night.
Her and her vodka and mini carrots, because you got to stay thin. I would.
How?
I don't even know what to do.
I don't even
know where to go
I
with that.
I can't. I just can't believe a person lives on that. But
no,
yep, she still does. I worked the Riviera right before it got blown up.
Oh
my
yeah,
God, and I was featuring, and I didn't want to feature, but I think it was like on the way out to LA or something where it lined up, and I didn't at the booker. Oh, it was Sharippa was booking it. Steve Sharippa, and he's always, I mean, he's a nice guy.
He's one of that guy.
But he's like
11,000 years of that tone of voice.
Sweetheart.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
It was like, I'm sure it was like a big deal if you booked a woman as a headliner. Like, and you just go, all right, if I'm going to do business with this guy, I'm going to be lessened. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if I'm going out to LA, it's like, it's a, you're getting halfway there and you're making a little money for the week and then you go the rest of the way there.
Yeah.
So sometimes you take it. So, but it was a while ago anyway, but, the headline, I was so enraged because, I just hate being in a casino anyway. The people make me angry. Anyone that visits a casino voluntarily and not because they have a show, I hate. It's like I have nothing in common with you. And I
take your fanny pack and shove it up your ass.
Yes.
No.
But the headliner closed on a Columbo impression.
What year was this?
I would say this is 2007, 2008.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. There are people listening to us that don't know what I just said. They don't understand what I just said. Columbo. There's this guy named Peter Falk who's an actor, and one of his eyes was wonky. It went like left while the rest of the other eye went right. Mm-hmm. And so many comics, so many male comics in the 90s did a Columbo impression. And Kevin Pollak was like famous for it.
Well,
and
yeah, because he could nail the voice
as
well.
Everyone else did a version of Kevin Pollak's just like everyone else does.
Oh, I can only do impressions of other people doing impressions.
Yeah.
It is. I have. I can do Keanu Reeves being James Bond because John Bush, a Minneapolis comic, did a James Bond Keanu Reeves. Remember John Bush?
Yeah. What's he doing?
I think he's living in Iowa and married, and
he's
whatever.
not doing any stand-up
I
anymore?
think he's doing some theater, like community theater.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He's. But I remember he said,
"How does that
He says, my name is Bond. Jamie Bond." That's the worst Keanu Reeves ever. But he used to do it better. Anyway,
but I'm obsessed with a comic switching over to community theater in Iowa. What?
Right. He was
a New Yorker.
For a while,
He was. I used to see him all the time at the comic strip. Bam, bam, bam. Every single night.
He lived here for a while. He lived here in 94 when the big quake happened. And he moved, and he did a great joke about being a Quaker faker. And because there was, during that big quake, people would say, I woke up 3 blocks away. And you're like, no, you didn't. It wasn't that bad. But he freaked out because of the earthquake and moved to New York.
And then 9/11.
And then 9/11.
Sent him to Iowa.
Sent him to Iowa. He's like, I gotta go in the middle of the country and just dig a well.
Wow. Yeah. So
you're working with a Columbo guy.
Oh God. And the audience.
What was the joke? Do you remember?
No, it was just an impression of Columbo. Who? These guys never write jokes. They fucking pull out their Columbo hat and they do their big closer. And I was just like, I'm featuring for this guy? What the fuck? That enraged me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a sentiment I have.
Like I haven't felt that way in a long time.
I haven't had to feature for that guy. I haven't had to feature for that guy.
Right. I used to feel that way for, I would say, the second half of the 90s on up to 2004, nonstop.
That was the last guy I featured for that all I could think. And he's a hardcore road dude, so he's not bad.
He's good.
But it's tired.
Oh, really?
It's not.
I haven't
not
seen
a lot
his
of
long set in a long time.
His long set is exhausting. It might as well be
what
Columbo.
You've heard it before.
Yeah, he's just like, just do one more question. That's what they always. That's the line that they always do with Columbo. Just one more last.
Oh, right.
One more last question.
I thought you were giving away his
punchline, or
or whatever his T-shirt.
I can't remember. Oh yeah, the guy was a merch monster though. $1,500 in T-shirts that week.
No,
1,500.
Were they funny shirts, or they
were made
to
in America?
Oh,
that was it.
God.
It was right after 9/11.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think he said he was donating some of it to somebody. And you're like, I would like to see documentation.
You know what? I did donate some of it to somebody.
I'm donating the Meat Shield shirts, and I'm almost at. I just donated to both the ACLU and the Southern Law Poverty and Planned Parenthood this weekend because I'm
Bitch,
like, it's
those
taking
are my
too
monthlies,
long.
man. Those are my monthlies.
You got a guild job. Just fuck off. And,
So listen, I did it. I did a show in Albuquerque right after 9/11. Like
Yeah.
that. Maybe I think I already told the story where I sold my Chianti. Did I ever tell you about that bit
Chianti?
Chianti? Where I would
Oh, yeah,
say,
yeah, the cunt
bitch,
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's do a biatch version of bitch.
Yeah.
For Chianti, for cunt. I never said. I prided myself on never saying the c word. I would just say
Right.
Chianti, and then all of a sudden, like it's somewhere like in maybe 2002, everyone decided to say cunt on stage, and all of a sudden, me who wrote around the word
Yep.
and was very careful to write around it. Every feature saying cunt. I'm
Right.
like, what the fuck?
we took back the word. I think
No,
I've
it's
told
dudes.
this.
It was dudes.
Dudes took back the word?
Dudes never let it go.
And was it dudes saying the word cunt, though? Because I heard women
Yes.
saying the word cunt in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's now it's
That now
you know,
everybody's
it's
saying
nothing,
it.
but
But I had a joke it had to be 96 or 97. It was I fucking burned every bridge that run. But I was at the Spaghetti Works in not was it
It was
Rapid
in
City?
Iowa. It's in Iowa.
It's in Iowa. The Spaghetti Works. Okay, so
John Bush will know.
John Bush knows. And so I was eating it.
Right.
And so I decided to try this new joke about and I said the word cunt.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
guy, and I got narked down by the headliner. And I
Who's the
didn't.
headliner?
Mike Veneman, he's dead. I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him. It's not my fault.
But some cunt did.
Some cunt narked on me, and other than that, he was a nice enough guy. 11,000 years of he's a nice enough guy, but he narked on me. He's a bossy fucking magoo. Another just old white dude telling me what to do with my stand-up, and he said, "You can't say the word cunt on stage." And I said, "I just did." I have one, so I don't understand why I can't say it. And then Mueller was the booker.
Ken Mueller?
Ken Mueller.
Right.
Yeah,
the
his
Tribble of the Southwest. But he
Right,
went
and-
all the way up to Iowa.
and he was based out of Spaghetti Works town.
Oh.
And his sons are running it now, like Yoder's sons are. And
Oh my God, One night
it's a dynasty. Yeah, it's a dynasty.
Oh my God.
So
what is wrong?
but Ken Mueller said, "Hey, I heard you said the C word on stage." And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "It's not actually cool." And I was like, "Okay." But nobody told me that before I went up, so whatever. But then I ended up just burning every bridge. I got so drunk on that run that I drunk dialed 2 bookers one night, crying. I can't even tell you why or what happened. It was
Imagine a
terrible.
tear leaving your eye.
Oh, it was money related. I couldn't find.
I see it.
There you go. Now you can see it. Now you can see it. Yeah. Keisha needs to get paid, and if she's lost the $200 that she got paid that night because she brought a dude back, I brought a dude back to my room, and I thought he stole it.
Did he charge you $200?
He charged me $200 to not have a condom.
That's AOL instant messenger money back then.
Oh, look at this.
What?
We're done.
We've been an hour for like 20 minutes now.
What? How
Is it
much
an
have we
hour
done?
20?
You're at hour 8 actually. Never
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ!
Bye.
I gotta finish.
Oh,
this.
wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
just because because the thing is so I bring a dude back, but I'm super drunk.
Yeah.
And all I remember this night is that he didn't have a condom, and he said, "Well, I'll go get one." And I said, "No, I'll be passed out by the time you get back." And so he left, and then I couldn't find my $200, so I drunk dialed the wrong one-nighter booker, and then I drunk dialed the right one-nighter booker, and then I found the $200. Thank you. Bye.
Wait. Buy my book. Buy her CD. Bye.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.